Hello everybody, and for this Test Your Chess video we will be looking at a game played in October 2013, and in this game it's actually one of mine against Alex Pridding, and it was quite a quick game. The opening is the main line of the Scandinavian. So the main line goes after e4, d5, e takes, and here we can branch off into either knight f6 or queen takes. So I chose queen takes. My opponent then attacked the queen, and there are many squares you can go to, not c6 or c4 or e4, but e5 check, e6 check, c5 is very rare, d6 can be played and might be the strongest move. Queen d8 is also considered by many masters, but the move I chose was the most commonly played move at the time of this video, though theory does go a bit back and forth on this move. Queen a5. So after d4, knight f6, bishop c4, bishop f5, bishop d2. I have several options here. I can either play g6, trying to fianchetto the bishop and castle kingside. The second option is c6, so controlling d5 and b5 and making room for my queen to go to c7 or d8. Or I could sidestep with the queen to b6, attacking d4 and b2 simultaneously. So feel free to pause the video and I will reveal the answer in 5 seconds. Okay, so the amount of points you get if you guessed g6, well, unfortunately you lose 3 because of knight d5, and this actually wins the queen, rather annoyingly. The only move I can do is queen a4 and then bishop b5 check. After queen takes bishop, knight takes c7, forking the rook, king, and queen. So, not good. c6 gets you 2 points. This is main line. Not what I played, unfortunately. Yeah, 2 points for c6, because you do need to create some air for your queen. Unfortunately, I played the move queen b6. That does get 1 point, but it's not as good as c6. Knight f3, e6, queen e2, c6. So now I play the move. Castle's queenside. And here, what should black play? There's knight b to d7, making way for castling. Or there's bishop b4, also making way for castling and trying to swap off pieces. So what would you play here? Again, feel free to pause the video and analyze the position. I'll reveal the answer in 5 seconds. Okay, well, if you said knight b d7, this was not played in the game, but it does get you 2 points. It's a very good move, and it just keeps in. It's just in keeping with the position. Black usually wants to castle queenside in the Scandinavian, and c7 is also useful for the queen to go to, which should allow good protection of the king. I was a bit nervous at the time due to f7 being unguarded and knight g5 being played, but I have bishop g6. So after rook h1 castles, black is perfectly okay here. If you said, as in the game, bishop b4, you get 0 points because this move here isn't that useful, and black wants to castle queenside, and this move hasn't helped in any way. So after knight e5, bishop takes, and now 3 more choices. There's knight b d7 again, trying to castle queenside, but it could be too late. There's castle kingside instead, or, as in the Caro-Kann, trying to break in the centre with c5. Okay, 10 seconds, as this is quite a tricky position. Okay, well, castling was played in the game, and I'm being quite harsh with myself and you. You lose 2 points if you said castling. You lose 5 points if you said c5, because this opening of the centre is going to just destroy black's position. After d takes, queen takes, g4, bishop g6, g5. Look at black's pieces, they're slowly getting pushed further and further back. And the best move I can see is knight fd7, but now bishop b5. So white has a rook, a knight, and a bishop, all targeting d7. And black's best option might just be to castle and lose the piece. So, going back, the best move, which will score you a point, is knight bd7. Because again, black does have time for queenside castling. After rook he1, you need to remove the knight on e5 before castling. So knight takes, pawn takes, knight d5. So now black should be able to castle and stay out of trouble, at least for a few moves. So in the game I castled, and now white struck with g4. Bishop e4, and now 3 more options. f3, hitting the bishop. g5, going for the knight. Or rook hg1, protecting the rook. What would you do in this position? 5 seconds? Rook hg1 will score you a point. It's a good move, and it doesn't let up on the pressure against black's king. f3 isn't a bad move, but it doesn't really score you anything because it doesn't coordinate the pieces any better. And black might be okay after bishop d5. But what will score you 4 points is g5. And after bishop takes h1, what would you play here? Rook takes h1 or g takes f6. Okay, 5 seconds. Rook takes h1 won't score you anything because knight d5, and although white does have an attack against the black king, it probably isn't enough, and black should be able to recover from this position, and perhaps even win the game, being the exchange up. Instead, g takes f6 was the reason for playing g5, which scores you 2 points. And now, in the game, I played bishop d5. And here, white has 2 lines of attack. One is queen h5, trying to go for activity with the queen, or rook g1. What's the stronger move? Okay, 10 seconds. All right, queen h5 is definitely stronger. If, say, black were to play bishop takes bishop, white could win instantly with queen g5. It's the killer threat. Pawn up and queen h6 will checkmate in a move. So after queen h5, black is basically lost. If black opens up the g file with g takes f6, then rook g1 is going to mate extremely quickly. And almost anything else, there's queen g5. So queen h5 will score you 3 points. Rook g1 was played in the game, and that will score you a point because it's still a very strong move. Here, g6, and again 3 options. There is, after queen h5, queen d8. Sorry, 3 options from here. There's bishop d3, adding a piece to the attack on g6. There's bishop takes d5, removing one of black's defenders. Or there's the immediate sacrifice, knight takes g6. What would you play here? 10 seconds. Okay, well, bishop d3 actually loses a point because queen takes f6, and black should just about weather the storm and be able to regain some sort of structure to the position. Black could survive this. So bishop takes d5 is interesting, but again I feel that white's move here isn't that accurate. It does get you 3 points though, because the computer seems to love this move, although it's nowhere near as strong as knight takes g6, which gets you 5 points. Unfortunately, there's knight double check on e7, for example, as well as many other knight moves to threaten lots of pieces in black's army. So f takes g6 was played. And now, what do you do here as white? Do you play bishop d3? Now going for bishop takes g6. Do you play bishop takes d5 now to threaten bishop takes e6? Or do you sacrifice again on g6 with the rook? Okay, 5 seconds. The only thing that scores you any points is rook takes g6. This is the reason behind knight takes, and the other 2 moves allow black to consolidate with queen takes f6. So rook takes g6, and obviously the pawn can't take because then queen takes g6 and queen g7 mates, so king h8, bishop takes d5, and here I played queen e8 trying to swap off really. So black here does have a threat, which is queen takes g6, and if the white rook moves, then the queen takes queen, and afterwards e6 takes d5. So has black managed to sort of worm his way out of this position, or is there a really strong move for white? Right. 10 seconds. What is the strongest move for white in this position? All right, you get 3 points for queen h6, but 4 points for the very strongest move, which is f7. And now there's deep trouble for black, and in the game I did play on one more move. Queen takes f7, and now queen e5 check. And I think it's mate in 3 for white. So at this point I resigned, but one possible mate is queen f6, rook takes queen, rook takes rook, queen takes f6, king g8, and finally bishop takes e6, checkmate. So all in all, there are 25 points for this whole game available for you. Hopefully you managed to get 15 or more in this attacking game. And going back, I just wanted to show this game, partly to show one of my losses, as I haven't shown many of those, and it's very instructive to look at games you've lost. But just from the beginning with the Scandinavian, after knight c3, queen a5, d4, what should be fairly clear is that black has to be extremely careful in this opening. I'm not saying it's a terrible opening or it's not playable, but black needs to know a lot of theory and precise move orders. I think I might have already shown another game in the Scandinavian where I got dismantled very quickly. And this is another example of it. It was move 21 that I resigned. And this is part of the reason I went off the Scandinavian. I don't like having to learn lots and lots of theory just to be equal as black. I do like atypical openings and imbalanced structures, but there are more solid alternatives to the Scandinavian. And after the first few moves, which I did play correctly, this is all fine, I should have known the ideas behind the opening as well. So in your games as well, try not just to learn the moves, which I had been doing, try and learn the ideas, because there are some lines where queen b6 works, and it is the main move. But what I should recognise is that in almost all of the mainline Scandinavians, black is just planning on playing c6, queen sometimes back to c7, e6, knight bd7, and then castle queenside. So let's give white rook he1, castle queenside. So this is the kind of the starting position for the middle game in Scandinavian openings. So make sure that you study up sort of the starting position of the middle games, the end of the opening, what positions you reach, as I hadn't done this yet. and it's quite evident from the way I played as I castled kingside and got smashed with the pawn storm. So hope this video has been instructive. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.